I first found out about Dartmouth when I was living in Seattle in 2017. My former boss was helping me with the process of applications and everything, and she mentioned Dartmouth. And when I saw Dartmouth, I was like, I gotta apply to this place. The financial aid I got from Dartmouth was definitely the best among the colleges I got into.
I actually have some alums in my extended family. My stepmother's father and her younger sister went to Dartmouth. They kind of talked about Dartmouth when I would see them at holidays, and they would say, oh, you would really like Dartmouth, you know, Amon really loves it, blah, 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 blah. And so it was kind of always in the back of my head, but I knew I was like a city person. Like I really wanted to be in a city. And so I visited Dartmouth in a slew of other college visits, and I absolutely fell in love with the Upper Valley and New Hampshire and the way that campus looked, and it just seemed so perfect. But it still wasn't my top choice. I still really wanted to go to the city. I didn't want to be in the middle of the woods. And it ended up shaking out that I actually didn't get into any of the colleges I applied to in like my top location, and Dartmouth was there for me.
I was a junior in high school when I first heard about Dartmouth. I was doing research on summer flying programs when I found this one program called Dartmouth Bound. I was able to visit and stay at Dartmouth for 3 days before I even came to college, and was able to get a sense of what the community and the campus was like. And what really resonated with me was the strong sense of community that the faculty and the students shared, and it was so overwhelming within just the 3 days that I was there. It was that strong sense of community that Dartmouth portrayed during my 3 days there that made me realize that Dartmouth was definitely the right choice for me.
Hi everyone, this is Valentina. When I look back to my visit in the spring of my junior year, I just remember my tour guide being the kindest and just most humble person ever, and she would walk around while she gave our tour and stop by and talk to people and say hi to people, and that to me was really reflective of what the Dartmouth spirit is, you know, how caring and how kind Dartmouth students are.
When I was a senior in high school during September, I had a couple of friends that graduated last year that went to Dartmouth, and I also found out about Dartmouth through Questbridge because I applied through the Questbridge National College Match. And so when I went through their page, I found out that Dartmouth focused on like the undergraduate experience, which I really identified with, and the small student to faculty ratio along with a more remote setting, which was definitely a change of pace because I come from South Florida. I never visited campus before. I was mostly relying on images from Google Maps.
For most of like my high school experience, I thought I always wanted to go to school in the city, and I actually had a school that I thought I wanted to go to. And I visited Dartmouth to pretty much see what I was missing out on in a way, being that I'm from a city. Coming to see a rural side of the US was very different for me. And so I visited Dartmouth twice, once for the Dimensions program, which they run every spring except last spring because of COVID-19. Like, it made me realize what I was missing out on, and I actually applied early decision. And so I'm pretty happy with my choice, and I don't think I'd have it any other way.
So I first heard about Dartmouth from my driving instructor when I was around 15 years old. And he knew that I was Native American, and he told me that, you know, Dartmouth College has a really, really good Native American program. So that's kind of what got me interested in looking at Dartmouth. So I decided to apply to the Dartmouth Bound Native American program, and I met some of my best friends from there. And we continue to talk to this day. And those were like 3 days of my most memorable nights at Dartmouth. It was so awesome.
The only like mention of Dartmouth that I'd really heard before I started applying was from movies, and there was a girl from my town who went to Dartmouth. She got accepted a few years ago. And that's when I really got interested. I started talking to her about Dartmouth, and she told me how much she loved the school, and I started doing more research on Dartmouth, and I really fell in love with the school. I actually never got the chance to visit before I committed to Dartmouth because I had a few competitions that conflicted, so I kind of just accepted my offer of admission on a whim. It just felt really right for me. And I ended up being really happy, obviously, with my choice. I love being at Dartmouth.
And I am super, super happy with this decision. I think that I am much more happy at Dartmouth than I would have been at those other schools. I think that I have really connected to this place. I love the woods, I love New Hampshire, and I really love my friends, and I really love the communities I've built here.
I've enjoyed every second of my time here. It's definitely been an experience during the pandemic, as you can see with this beautiful mask, but I wouldn't trade any second for the world because I feel like I'm growing as a human being. I'm very happy, and I think they're handling the pandemic great.
I'm really happy I chose Dartmouth. I love it here. It's beautiful, beautiful fall, as you can see.
And I'm so happy with my decision. Dartmouth has been a dream and has blessed me with so many opportunities.
I really love the environment. I loved the people, I loved the community, especially the Native American community, and that's when I realized that Dartmouth is the place for me.
I'm definitely happy to be here at Dartmouth, and I'm glad I took that chance and just decided to commit to Dartmouth. So that's all for this week's vlog, and I'll see you guys for next week.